What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Spectators Baseball Podcast. We have spring training has started. Teams reported yesterday, and we are ready to get to predicting. Kim, what up, baby?
We are at that really fun time of year where Nestor Cortez strikes out Juan Soto 3 times in
Three
a row, and
times.
you're like, wow, is Nestor Cortez great? Is he going to be awesome this
Yes.
season? Or does Juan Soto suck? And you watch these clips like, should I be happy or upset?
I don't know because it's going against each other, but thankfully they don't have to during the season. That's pretty cool.
That's right.
And this is the fun part of the year because like spring training is definitely very exciting, especially for like me in Florida. Like it's around, like I feel it sometimes. Like you'll see the games going on if you're driving around, which is pretty cool. And every team has no wins, no losses. Everybody's in first, everybody's in last. But we get to see the young guys. We get to see the new acquired players hitting for the first time, wearing the uniforms for the first time, photo day, all that good stuff. And it is an exciting time for MLB. And I know I've been, salivating over the Juan Soto pictures we've seen of him in pinstripes, specifically today. And it's been a enjoyable last couple of days for me. I don't know how you feel. I've liked it. I've been having fun.
As a Yankees fan with a very, I guess I'll use the word bland. Our jerseys are pretty bland. It's been less frustrating looking at these awful jerseys because
It's
we don't
true.
have names to look at on the back. We just have stripes.
Everything looks the same. Nothing changed for
Yeah.
us, thankfully. Uh, yeah, I'm sure you saw the picture of Shohei where the jersey's just showing through the pants, and it's like, nice. We're gonna get some leaks of MLB players in a game on live TV this year. Very cool.
That's
Not, I'm
exactly what I
kidding.
see. When I turn on ESPN to watch Yankees or Red Sox on a Sunday night, I'm like, I really hope I see some meat.
Dude, please meet check right now. Right now. And then we get it because the Fanatics doesn't know how to make clothing, even though that's their one job. So shout out to Fanatics. You guys are useless. And again, shout out to the Yankees. No last names in the back. That it makes the sting a little bit less. But I mean, everybody else is pretty terrible. And they're charging more for the jerseys too. I saw a Cubs jersey going for like $400. Hello, four hundred
Put that
dollars.
put that on a list of things I'm not gonna buy.
There's so many things you could do with $400.
You
I
could buy like 11 jerseys illegally.
on sites that we will not name so that we can still continue to use them. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But like I said to start, we're gonna go over some awards predictions. Kind of just our stab in the dark at some awards. Some of them will be pretty obvious guesses, I'd imagine. Some of them won't be. We're gonna go over obviously MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year. We're also gonna do Most Improved. I know that's not an award in the MLB. I've always felt like it should be, and I think that's that's like one of the more fun ones to look at because you actually got to look at like stats and expecteds and things that make players good and why players are valuable. So we're gonna go over all that. I think we should start probably with Rookie of the Year since that's going to be the least amount of actual information we have on the players, and then
Valid.
then move on down after that. So, Mr. King, you want to start us off here, King?
All right, Rookie of the Year. It's gonna be tough. It's very likely he's gonna get a late start recovering from, not very fun injury. But I got Yankees, Jason Dominguez. I don't really think there's a whole lot to explain here because everything that he did last season you loved. I mean, his barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, sweet spot percentage, all above the 90th percentile, albeit very, very limited at bats. But
Yeah.
you can get just a little bit more of that. There's no reason he can't win Rookie of the Year, especially if he regains the same discipline at the plate that he had in the minors when he was walking 70, 80 times, and his on base percentage is, like 350, 360 or higher. You just have the recipe for a very good rookie season, even if he starts a month or two late.
Yeah, and kind of like you said, we saw like crazy good numbers from him. Actually in the majors, which is always a difficult, adjustment Sometimes a guy in Double A or Triple A will go crazy, and then getting their feet wet does take a little bit of a second. And Domingo's kind of hit the ground running and was actually better in the majors than he was in Triple A, which is a little impressive. It's going to be tough because the AL has some crazy rookies this year, like Jackson Holiday at some point. I don't know if he'll be starting the year on the Orioles roster, but whenever he does get called up, which I assume is going to be this year, that's likely the favorite. It's also hard to look down on Evan Carter, who was a really important player for the Rangers on their World Series run. When guys like Marcus Semien weren't really playing their best, Evan Carter was a on-base machine, one of the best visions I've ever seen, like ever, especially out of a young guy. And I really like him. But Dominguez is about as five-tool as it gets. And if he does come back, I think the big caveat for him is when he comes back. If he's coming back at the All-Star break, obviously it's going to be a lot tougher because Carter will be there day one. Holiday will be there probably by May. Those caveats are tough, but just not a reason he can't win it.
Kavitz, if you will.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't know what he's cooking over there, man.
I was just like, how can I mess up his train of thought? Kavitz.
Oh no, can't do it. Locked in, Dub Nation, can't do it. So I'm gonna go to the NL then, since you gave us a little Jason Dominguez action. And as much as I really want to say the number 2 prospect in baseball with Jackson Chourio, I really don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm looking forward to watching some games and hearing his name more. Jackson Chourio will be cool. Noelvi Marte for the Reds, I think, is going to be a baller, and if nothing else, he's going to be a stud defensively right away. But this one, I feel like I kind of have to go with the favorite because I think Yoshinobu Yamamoto might be a Cy Young contender immediately. And I think his stuff is going to be fantastic right away. And he's going to be an old rookie. I mean, he's a 25-year-old who's already had several seasons as a professional baseball player. Already has 2 Cy Youngs in the Japanese league. Comes over here. It's going to take a lot from a specific hitter to kind of take over Yamamoto. Or Yamamoto has to, like, severely not play to expectations at all. And so if both of those happen, look out for Chourio or Noelvi Marte. Maybe like a Shota Imanaga as a little sneaky one. But I would really find it hard to believe that Yamamoto isn't Rookie of the Year in the National League and isn't at least like a top 5 Cy Young kind of a guy too. Like, I think they're both going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it would be very hard for Yamamoto to not win Rookie of the Year. We already know how incredible of a talent he is, and we pointed this out. I don't know if it was maybe like a month ago at this point, but when he first got signed, all I saw on Twitter was, "How could you pay this guy this much money? How could you pay this guy this much money?" But if you pull up FanGraphs right now, I guarantee you he is a top 30 in projected WAR in the league without ever throwing a pitch.
Yeah.
So they're projecting him to already be a top 30 player. And if you are a top 30 player and you are a rookie, there's a
really good chance.
I mean,
really good chance.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And I think he's just going to be good. Like, there's not the best hitting teams in that division right now either. The Padres are kind of somewhere in the middle of the pack. We don't really know what to expect from the Giants. Rockies stink. Like, that's a lot of not ideal baseball teams that you get to go up against. So the odds are definitely in his favor. He has really good defense behind him. Like, it all just he's gonna play with leads. Like, everything you kind of want as a pitcher is gonna be there for you. And is he the ace of that staff? I'm not really sure. Bobby Miller is gonna be a dog. Glass now, if he's healthy, is gonna be a dog, but he's gonna be really good.
I like it. I'm a fan.
But let's go to most improved. I feel like since it's not technically an award, we shouldn't leave it for any later. However, here at Spectators Media, we're making an award. Absolutely. Right now. So congratulations to these two handsome gentlemen who are about to win it.
Absolutely. There will be no voting on this award. We will have no trophy to give out, but it will be acknowledged. I mean, we probably won't actually give out. Well, no, we probably will. I was gonna say we probably won't give out an end of the year like most improved award, but we probably
Yeah,
will.
we definitely will. I can't imagine
Either
we won't.
that, or we'll just go look back on our picks and be like,
You
nice.
stupid.
Well, I started with the last one, so I will let you go ahead and start with your most improved pick.
Okay, I have two. I'm gonna pick my second one, which is going to the National League. And it was actually one of the more head scratching trades I've seen, honestly, in a long time. The Chicago White Sox traded Jake Berger to the Miami Marlins. He was a 26-year-old, I think, at the time of the trade in his first full MLB season. So he has plenty of team control with the Marlins now, which is definitely the type of player they need because they're not a team that spends a whole lot. Jake Berger ended his season last year with 34 home runs, batting 250, a 309 on base percentage, and a 518 slugging in his first full MLB season. This is a guy that when he came up, originally his MO was this is going to be a guy who hits for raw power, and that's kind of his thing. This is a power bat. But as it turns out, he's a decent athlete. He plays a lot of positions in the infield. He can give you some flexibility at third, play a little bit of second base and a little bit of first, which is nice because the Marlins need to kind of figure out their infield and how that's going to be fleshed out. Having some flexibility there is really nice. And this guy flat out smacks the baseball hard. And for a guy who hasn't seen a whole lot of pitching at the major league level, to be in the 90th essentially percentile in expected slugging, expected exit velo, barrel percentage, hard hit percentage. His expected on base percentage is really good because although he does swing and miss a good amount, he still is able to put together quality at bats. He does strike out a bunch. I fully expect Jake Berger to more or less double the amount of walks that he had this year after a full season of, again, adjusting after a trade, being in the White Sox system, which I don't think we talk enough about how detrimental that is to a young player. It is a really toxic environment, and there's a reason that most young guys there haven't improved
Yeah, you don't
in
want to
their
be there.
tenure there. Not that the Marlins are great at developing hitters, but I think Jake Berger is plenty talented on his own that if he's able to watch more balls and gather a little bit more walks so he can get closer to a 360 on base percentage, that doesn't have to be there, but I think his ceiling could be about a 360 on base percentage. If he can do that, this is a guy that could go 40 home runs, 360 on base percentage, and unironically be the best hitter in at least an okay offense. So Jake Berger, most improved, National League.
I like it. No, I like it a lot. And I definitely agree. If he can he doesn't even have to be the greatest at drawing walks, but if he
No,
could even just get that up to 8 or 9%, I mean, we're talking about a guy that I just had it up, but of course I don't anymore. I think he walked around 50 times.
yeah,
I mean, dude, if you can simply walk 65 or 70 times, that's going to boost up his on base percentage probably a good 15, 20 points, and everything else comes with it.
yeah.
Your slugging, your OPS, all that comes with it. And yeah, I mean, if you can boost everything up 15, 20, 30 points, of course you are most definitely in the running for this award. So I like your pick.
Yeah, I think one last note. I think this guy has an opportunity to be a 870, 880 OPS guy. I think he's that talented as a hitter. So, walk a little bit more, start chasing just a smidge less. You can whiff as much as you want. Just stop chasing. And you got yourself legitimately one of the better right-handed hitters in the NL East and just a really good player. So yeah,
Valid.
I like him. I really do. What you got for us?
I have a superstar. Wasn't
Okay.
really much of a superstar a season ago, though.
Okay.
It's a guy that missed all of 2022 because he had to put steroids in his hair or something. I really don't even remember the whole story. We're talking about Fernando Tatis Jr. Now, he didn't necessarily have a terrible season a year ago. You know, if you're looking at traditional stats, almost a 260 average, 25 home runs is a little low for him, like in the power department. Um, I mean, everything though is just a little low. I mean, the 322 on base percentage compared to him normally having about a 360, the 449 slugging compared to him always being above like 500, 550. Just everything's a little low. And I look at it as Tatis was a less than fortunate player at the plate. Because when you take a look at his Savant page, I mean, everything that I am about to list is at least in the 87th percentile or higher, which qualifies, I'd say, as elite. We're talking about his xWOBA, his expected batting average, expected slugging, average exit velocity, his hard hit percentage, and then even something like his barrel percentage was in the 70th percentile. So he's hitting the ball hard. He's hitting the ball in the air as well. His launch angle was 11 degrees. His average launch angle was 11 degrees. So he's hitting line drives, but for some reason, they were just finding gloves. And that is noted by an expected batting average of 281 compared to his actual batting average of 257, which is a 24-point difference. Quick math. Yes, 24-point difference. And an expected slugging of 508 compared to a slugging of just 449, which is a 59-point difference on the slugging as well. So if he does essentially the same exact thing he did a season ago, but just has a little bit of luck, his numbers are going to look like they absolutely skyrocket in 2024.
Yeah, and you bring up the expected slugging. I think that's seventh in baseball in terms of like unlucky players. Some of them above him are superstars. Acuna was above him and still won an MVP. So it's possible to beat the unlucky slugging allegations. When you have a guy like Tatis who's as great defensively as he's looked in one season out in right field, he's a top 5% athlete in terms of sprint speed and obviously just like base stealing and running the bases. He's always been fantastic at that. Get a little lucky, maybe get a little bit more consistent. He had a really bad, I think it was August, uh, just one of those where you just couldn't buy a hit. And he's a little fiery of a guy, so that definitely gets to him more than it would more of a cool, level-headed player. So if you can kind of get that under control, get a little bit luckier, which, not something you can really control, but is what it is. I do have my one thing with him is that Juan Soto is not in that lineup anymore, so there's less of a reason to pitch to him. I know their
True.
lineup construction was a little bit odd, and they moved it around quite a bit. So he wasn't always next to Soto, but losing Juan Soto is usually detrimental to an offense, and it'll make the next guy up just get worse pitches to hit more often. So that's a little tough, but I do like Tatis, and if he is getting lucky and maybe getting that launch angle actually a little bit higher, because that stadium is brutal to hit home runs in. I think it's the second hardest stadium in the league in terms of run value for hitters. If you can get that launch angle a little bit higher, get towards 35-ish, 40 home runs, this is like a 7-8 WAR guy instead of the 5.5. So
Certified MVP candidate.
for sure. And I mean, again, 5.5 WAR, we're talking about this guy being a most improved. Like, that's how high we regard him and his skill set and what he brings to a team and kind of just the expectations we have for him. So it's not a slanderous on how he was bad last year, but we just think he can provide a lot more.
Basically, he performed 5.5. If I were to guess, it's probably somewhere in the top 30. If I were to guess, 5.5 is very good WAR.
Yeah,
He's probably a top 30, top 40 player. Off the top of
yeah.
my head, if I were to guess, I'm sure I could find it if I really wanted to quickly, which is a very good player. I'm just saying I think he's a top 10 player in the league.
Yeah. 5.5 would probably put him in top 15. Bradley's at number 10, so I'm not going to expand
Damn, that's
that
top
in.
15. I'm bad at this.
Trash, actually, unfortunately.
Dog water, to be
On
honest.
B WAR, by the way, which is less kind to outfielders typically. A little bit. So yeah, Tatis, you're handsome. Be handsome this year. I
Very,
would like that out of you. I would like that out
very.
of you. All right, we're going back to you. It's a little Cy Young, a little back to back on the Cy Young predictions. I have a feeling you're going to take the easy road here, which is fine.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not. I'm gonna give you something different. You know how like Garrett Cole won the Cy Young last year on a pretty bad Yankees team, right?
Yeah,
But we all still talked about it because it's Garrett Cole and he's on the Yankees.
yeah.
Well, this guy that I'm gonna name is gonna be similar to like Felix Hernandez on those awful,
Okay.
awful Mariners teams.
Okay.
I'm not saying he is gonna be Felix Hernandez, but
Yeah.
he's on a bad team. So like you might not even talk about him, but he's gonna win Cy Young this year. Weird. God, I was cooking until I said weird. Anyways, we are talking about Tariq Skubal.
I had him too. Let's go. Yeah. I'll go with
Tariq
somebody else when I
Skubal.
talk. He's a dog. Dog.
Like he only had 80 innings pitched, but it's all right.
He's
He's
coming off
back
injury.
from injury,
Yeah.
right? He's coming off injury. In those 80 innings, a career high 32.9% strikeout percentage. I don't think he necessarily maintains that, but if he gets in the high 20s, if he even touches 30, that's incredible. A career low 4.5% walk percentage. We hate walks. Say no to walks. Walks are bad. He is a certified member of the Walks Are Bad Club, and we love that for him. His ERA, not the best stat to look at, was 2.8, but his expected ERA was 2.3. A whole half a point better than his actual ERA. And then everything is elite. His chase percentage, his K percentage, walk percentage, barrel percentage, whiff percentage. There's not a single thing, even his ground ball percentage is in the 87th percentile. There's not a single thing on his Savant page that is bad, except like his extension. But clearly that does not matter for him. Tariq Skubal is going to win Cy Young in 2024.
I mean, that's just about as. You're so mega mind for that. The only thing that I want Tariq Skubal to do better, and I actually need him to do this a little bit better. I would like him to throw his slider for more strikes because he doesn't get as much whiff on his slider like a left-handed slider that is as quick as it is, because I think its average speed is like 86 or something like that, or 87. He only gets a 24% whiff percentage on that. That pitch needs to be put away, and he's only at a 19% put away on his slider. When you throw as hard as he does, because he sits at about 95, 96, pretty good for his arm slot as a lefty. If he can improve his slider a little bit and get that whiff percentage up to like 30, 35%, I am telling you, this will be a runaway Cy Young. Like, runaway. Because he'll win more games than he doesn't as a Tiger. That staff is terrible. That offense is abysmal. But he'll be their all-star. And
that's what I mean. Like, if he starts 30 games, he's gonna go like 13-12.
yeah.
But he's gonna have a nasty ERA and everything else.
He's probably going to lead the AL in strikeouts if he plays a full season.
Disgusting amount of strikeouts.
And playing in Comerica too
helps.
It helps with like home runs, right? So he's going to give up less of those. You will give up more random things. Pitchers tend to have higher ERAs there just because balls go into the gaps more and that type of stuff kind of changes in variance. So like expected stats are a little bit closer, but they wind up being just a little bit higher. I mean, I love that pick. I think Tark's going to be fantastic. And if it's not Garrett Cole, which, I mean, he's the reigning Cy Young right now, and without the AL having Shohei, losing Glass now, Shane McClanahan's out for the year. So there's it's kind of thin at the top of the AL Cy Young race. You know, you still have Luis Castillo. George Kirby's probably in that mix somewhere. DeGrom's coming back, allegedly. Allegedly.
He's going to come back for like 40 more innings.
He was really good in those 30 innings.
He's got to meet his quota.
He'll have the best 40 innings you've ever seen, and then just like start drinking some Bush Lights, watch
Slouchy.
watch Max Scherzer do his thing. So I fully agree. I won't talk as much about him because I think it's less of a runaway. But we're gonna stick with another Marlin on the Cy Young, and it's not Sandy. It's gonna be Jesus Luzardo. I think Jesus Luzardo has all the makings of a Cy Young pitcher, but he needs to kind of figure out what makes him good. And what I mean by that is Jesus Luzardo is a guy who strikes a lot of people out, and he has strikeout stuff. His fastball is fantastic. His slider is fantastic. His changeup's very good. But he's a guy that likes to try and induce soft contact with strikeout stuff. And that leads to balls getting hit hard because you have strikeout stuff and not soft contact stuff. So his hard hit percentage is a little bit lower than you'd want. A guy with his type of pitching repertoire, his ground ball percentage is way too low to be pitching the soft contact. I know he has a good moving fastball, but if you want to pitch to that soft contact, you need to be getting ground balls, not letting the ball go into the air. And he doesn't necessarily do that. So if he's able to keep the balls in the strike zone, walk a couple less guys, and strike out more with intention, Jesus Luzardo is going to wind up with 260 strikeouts this year instead of the 208 that he had, which was a career high, and he looked really good. But the strikeouts for him are going to translate directly in a massive improvement in just about every category.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't love the launch angle there, especially for a guy that gives up a decent amount of hard hit balls and
Mm-hmm.
like a pretty high average exit velocity. The average launch angle at 14.5. I mean, that's a line drive every single time.
Yeah.
You definitely don't like to see that. One thing I will say I definitely love about Jesus Luzardo's game that has progressively gotten better, especially since 2021, is he is slowly but surely joining the no walk society.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really can't stress how much I love no walks. Like, there's, can you ever name an instance where a walk that was not intentional was good? Probably not, off the top of your head.
Yes, I
No,
can.
don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay, I won't, but I
Don't
can.
do it.
Walking
Every
Barry
time
Bonds. Every time.
I said intentional, I said that wasn't intentionally.
Just saying. It's always better. It's always better.
9 times out of 10, if I watch my pitcher walk somebody, chances are they just walked the ninth batter, and the next guy comes up and immediately smokes a double, and I am screaming at
Furious.
my wall.
Furious.
I am saying hateful things to my wall. Say no to walks.
Say no to walks. Which is why we don't talk too much here about guys like Blake Snell, as much as I do like Blake Snell, and I think he's put together a pretty good career. Big strikeout guy. I just don't like how much he walks players, and it's like become just a trend in his career. He is like bad about walking. It's not like he's even serviceable as like a pitcher that can get out of innings quickly. He lets counts get, long in the tooth and then puts runners on. And thankfully, Blake Snell has fantastic arm angles and his extension's great. And his put away stuff is maybe one of the best from a left hander we've seen since Prime Kershaw. Like, that's all true. And he's able to talent his way out of the situations he creates. But Blake Snell just needs to keep guys off the bases, like occasionally. Sometimes. He'd have like
So,
a
like,
he'd have like a 0.7 whip every year if he could just stop walking people, which is like Hall of Fame type stuff.
yeah, so if we have like our no walk society or like a certified member of like the Walks Are Bad club, what is Blake Snell in? What is, I mean, they gotta have
It's
People
like
that
it's like the take your base club. Like, you got it, man.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not
Which
bad.
I think Snell is kind of in the realm of I'd rather give you this base than throw you a strike that you're about to crush. Because he kind of knows, like, you can tell when he pitches, he gives up on at bats occasionally because he's getting timed up, or like he doesn't necessarily have an out pitch in this at bat because he tried it and it didn't work. And he's like, I'm going to give you the base because if I throw a pitch that I don't feel comfortable with, you're going to hit it hard because I've seen my fair share of hard hit balls against me. Which I don't think is like a bad thing if that's the mentality. If he's like conceding an at bat because he doesn't want to give up a worse result. But we don't know how true that is. So that's just me like projecting like thought process.
Yeah, man, walks are bad.
Walks are bad. They are though. Walks are bad. Especially when you have good stuff. Walks are bad. They extend innings. They put stress. You know, like, I don't think it's talked enough about, and I don't know, like, obviously numbers to back it up, but, like, being in more stressful innings, aka, like, runners on scoring position, runners on, innings with, like, 25 or more pitches, that's got to, like, deteriorate your, like, career capacity to an extent after you do it so often. Because, like, stressful innings, like, you're not throwing it easy. You're throwing tight, like, some guys are built different for it. Not me. It's not true. I actually love stressful innings. I love being a reliever as a pitcher, but like I wasn't throwing 95 either. My arm's chilling.
Yeah, like you chose that.
Yeah.
As a starter, you don't really choose that.
Yeah, that's true.
You like to go out there when there's nobody on base.
When the weather is perfect.
Honestly. You know, it's part of the reason he only threw 180 innings.
Yeah. And you know, that's we pivoted a little bit, but like we were talking walk society. It felt like a nice little. We haven't talked about Snell. He's still not signed. This is a good reason why. Nobody wants to give 9 years to a guy who can't command the zone.
Who struggles to throw more than 5.5 innings a game because his pitch count is at 250 by the 8th batter he sees. That was a crazy exaggeration, but you get the point. I mean, quick math.
It's never quick.
No, actually, quick math says he probably averaged about 5 2/3 innings a game. And I know that because 32 times 5 is 160, and he pitched 180 innings. So quick math, you get what I'm saying? And that's just not what you want out of a top tier starter. You want 6 innings. You want quality starts. And he's demanding top tier starter money, which, don't get me wrong, in terms of, just not allowing runs, great, awesome. But the stress that he also puts on your bullpen at the same time is not what you want out of a guy that's going to demand $30 million a year.
Yeah, I think that's like part of the main thing. It's just you're looking at how the years that you're wanting to give him, and it's like, do I? And hence why he's not on the team.
Real.
All right, let's move to our final award. Woohoo! Final award. MVP. There's some really good options. I don't
even think about it.
Say it.
I genuinely don't even have to think about it. As long as we get 130, 140 games, it's Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
There is not many things that Aaron Judge is not the best at when it comes to hitting right now. The following things are in the 100th percentile on Baseball Savant.
He's just the best.
100th. If you don't know what that means he is the best. He's not in the top 1%. He is the top percent.
Real.
Anyways, looking at things such as xWOBA, expected slugging, average exit velocity, barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, walk percentage, all of these things. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things in which Aaron Judge is the best at in the league. And some of them aren't even particularly close. I mean, if we filter it by, say, 400 at bats, because
Yeah.
no, it would have to be like, yeah, no, plate appearances. Say if we filter it by like 400 plate appearances, that barrel percentage number, dude, he's up by like 8 or 9 percentage points. I mean, there's just so many things that Aaron Judge is the best at, and some of these things the best at by a wide margin. Add on his even at this age, even at this point in his career, a very solid defender,
Mhm.
and you have my pick for 2024 MVP.
I agree. I like you for that. You're handsome. And it's crazy because we talked about it like a couple weeks ago, but Judge and Soto are the 1 and 2 like odds-on favorites for MVP right now in the AL. It's really easy to see why, and I actually think they really help each other. There's a chance, there's a world where the Yankees are gonna have Juan Soto hitting with a let's guess in the low end, uh, a 390 on base percentage, right? He's only been below 400 once in his career, so I think that's a pretty conservative guess. 390 on base percentage. He's going to hit second most likely before Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge will have a guy that's on base almost 40% of the time hitting before him. Judge is most likely going to hit 40 to 45 home runs. That right there, mathing, is 60 RBIs with no other factors.
I'd have to do the quick math in my head there.
Yeah. It's just like, just off of that, just off of the guy before him and himself hitting it out of the park, 60 RBIs. And then you obviously add everything else. He's going to hit a couple grand slams and singles and not like it's just the counting stats are going to be crazy for Judge this year. It's the best protection he's going to ever have in a lineup, especially if Anthony Rizzo can actually see in a straight line, which they say he can, which is pretty cool. Excited
Anthony
for that.
Rizzo doesn't see 3 baseballs at a time.
It might be God. No,
crazy.
that Judge is going to be awesome. Look out for Jordan. Look out for Corey Seager. Corey Seager's never been a big regular season truther outside of last year where, Shohei was never not going to win that award. So that's tough. There is no Shohei, though. So there will be a one-way player winning an MVP in the American League again, and it will not take 60 trillion home runs to do it. That's pretty cool. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, Shohei, for going to the Dodgers.
I just wanted to say a little bit more about the protection aspect here. If Juan Soto's on base 40% of the time, and then you have Aaron Judge followed up by literally anyone. It does not matter. It could be possibly the worst hitter in the league. It's probably going to be Rizzo in the 3 spot again. But no matter who it is, you never want to let a guy up to bat with 2 guys on base, which means Juan Soto is already on base. Aaron Judge is going to see pitches to hit this season like he probably never has in his entire career.
It's kind of crazy.
It's kind of crazy. He might hit 74.
Hey, maybe that'll be like the downfall of Judge where people start throwing him strikes and he's like, what do I do?
They're like, wait a minute.
He's like, maybe we could just fill up the zone and this guy sucks.
We've been trying to throw at his ankles his whole career.
Give him some meatballs. 55 home runs later. Yeah, that offense should, air quotes, should be really good, especially just with that one addition. Be crazy. I'm going to NL. Going my MVP. We're not going too crazy hot takes on the MVPs. Sorry. What do you want from me? Mookie Betts. They get Shohei Ohtani added to this lineup. Mookie Betts is still the best hitter in a lineup that has Freddie Freeman, in a lineup with Shohei Ohtani, and every other great or above average hitter that they have. Mookie Betts is still the best hitter here. He's in the 80th percentile of literally every savant bubble, every single one, besides sprint speed, which I don't really know when his speed left him. He used to be really fast. I don't know why that kind of got zapped from him. He's on some Stantonian type of downfall in terms of athleticism. Doesn't matter
Oh,
because
no.
he's not even playing right field anymore. Mookie Betts gets an opportunity to go to an infield position where he's going to be elite defensively, aka he's going to stack up more WAR. He had 8.3 WAR last year. He might get close to 10 just on the fact that he's going to be a second baseman instead of a right fielder, where it's just way harder to get WAR in the outfield. He had 39 home runs last year. If he puts up 35 homers with a 400 on base percentage again, is as good defensively at second base as I expect him to be, this might be a runaway. If Acuna, if the bases are smaller and the pickoff rule isn't changed, Acuna doesn't have 70 stolen bases, and that Mookie Betts would be on line to have a back-to-back MVP season. Because outside of really the stolen bases, Betts did just about everything else better than Acuna last year. But because of obviously how great Acuna was and the stolen base, we never seen 40-70 before, and they were pretty close with most things. I'm not mad that Acuna won it. He's a fantastic player, and I love him. But I do think Mookie is still a better hitter, and his defense is going to be valued more this year. And he's handsome. And he's not a Red Sox anymore either, which is pretty cool. I know he hasn't been for a while, but like that still matters. It means something to me. Right here.
You know, I love your pick. But the whole time, I can't help but think about how, like, Red Sox fans, and even, like baseball fans as a whole, you know, they all used to want to tell us Yankees fans that Mookie Betts was the best right fielder in the league.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think... okay, I'll say it's a little close. But I feel like it's undisputed that since at least 2021, there's no question Aaron Judge is the best right fielder in the league.
Aaron Judge has been the best outfielder in baseball since 2021.
Valid.
I think he has more WAR, more home runs, the highest OPS over that time, the highest slugging over that time. Like, I think like every little counting stat and then like also like advanced stat for like, you know, valuable hitting advice would tell you that he's been the best since then. So
Not many things that he isn't the best in.
we don't need to compare them though. They're different leagues. They're both beautiful men that are both going to win some hardware this year because we have never been wrong on predictions once as a duo.
Never. I've actually never been wrong about anything in my entire life. Posted NL East predictions on my Twitter page today. They're not going to be wrong.
Okay.
I picked the Mets to finish second in that division. I'm going to be right.
Braves are winning it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Mets.
Yeah. Dude, they have the offense.
Are they doing the classic like, oh, we're gonna tank this year, but then are actually good? Because they're like they've said they are tanking. That it's like
No, they're just gonna score like 1,500 runs, and they're gonna give up all the runs, but they're gonna score all of the runs. Like, their pitching's not gonna be necessarily great, but they're just gonna score more.
Jose Quintana is their 2-starter right now.
Yeah, I know. That's
Okay,
like they're gonna give up all of the runs, but they're gonna score all of the runs as well.
Locked in, you know. Just want
Yeah. No,
That's all. Okay.
But that offense really, if you look at that lineup top to bottom, there really isn't a hole in it.
I mean, Jeff McNeil not being good is probably a hole.
Okay, but you could do worse. Let me pull up the Mets lineup real quick. Hold on.
I like that you could do worse. It's like you got me. Like, you're right. You could definitely do worse.
I mean,
you could have Addison Russell at
course.
second base. Like, sure.
Yeah. Could have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
You could, certainly.
Could.
Definitely could.
Of course, I don't have like any projected lineups.
Yeah, we don't need it, man.
Type in it.
It's fine. I believe you.
No,
I just don't
I'm
like
right.
it. I just don't like it.
It's gonna happen.
I just don't like it at all.
Sorry to say it.
I might like the
gonna happen.
Marlins more than the Mets this year. I know I've talked about them a little bit today.
Insane.
I might like them more. They have way better pitching. They're gonna hold teams down to runs. Just off of that, I like it.
I'm upset.
What?
I honestly don't think I see the Marlins winning 80 games.
Didn't they win 80 last year?
They won 84 last year.
Yeah, they're going to be a better team.
We'll come back to this.
Okay, we'll
We'll
come back to
this.
we'll come back to this. I think they'll win about more or less the same amount of games, but they're going to be a better team.
We'll come back to this.
Okay. All right. Whatever you say, man. I mean, hey, listen. How about this? You hear me out. We come back next week and we talk divisions.
For sure.
I like that. That feels like a good thing to me. Because spring training will have some games started. I think tomorrow is the first games. And then they'll obviously just be going pretty much every day. But tomorrow's really the first day of baseball being back. Games are being played. You can bet on spring training.
Spring training?
Yeah.
Why would anyone ever do that?
I saw a line for Joe Musgrove, 2 strikeouts. No, thank you. He'll probably throw 1 inning. I'm good.
I'm upset.
Yeah. You can do it.
It shouldn't even.
You can bet on anything. Vegas wants your money. They will take your wife and kids as well. No regard. No regard. You got anything else for this episode? I mean, let's say all of our predictions at once. Right?
Oh, yeah. It's at the exact same time, so no one can actually hear us.
Exactly. You're going first.
Perfect. Going first, like all of them in a row, like bang, 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 bang?
Yeah,
Or like
yeah.
I go, you go, I go, you go.
Say what award, and then got it.
All right. The official 24 Kin award pick for okay. So I gotta think of like a smooth way.
No,
to
it
say
sounded
this.
good to me.
I think no,
Let's
it
be
sounded
better.
fucking awful. Let's be better. Okay, all right. 24 Kins official 2024 season award picks. You can lock them in. Go bet them on whatever app. Don't do that. Do not do that. This is not financial advice.
Sure.
For baseball 2024, starting with Rookie of the Year, we got Jason Dominguez. Most Improved Player, Fernando Tatis Jr. Cy Young Award, AL because he's in the AL. Tariq Skubal. And your MVP, again, it's going to be AL because he's in the AL. Aaron Judge. Lock them all in. Bet the house on it. Don't do it. I'm not a financial advisor.
Don't do it.
I'm not a professional sports bettor.
I like that.
We lost money.
Yeah, usually do. Usually do. All right, and the Waifu Ju predictions for the 2024 MLB season. Rookie of the Year, Yamamoto with the Dodgers. We're going, our most improved is going to be Jake Berger. Again, not an award, but he's going to win it. We're going Cy Young with Jesus Luzardo from the Marlins as well. And then the NL MVP will be Mookie Betts. I like it. I feel good about it. I feel really good about it, honestly. I love that you said Skubal.
Bookmarking this episode.
I just didn't think you had that in your bag, and you pulled it out your bag, and I was like, "This,
dude, my bag is deep. My bag is. Never mind. I was. You know what I can't stand?
Okay.
I talked to you about this before we started.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are one of these people, you're annoying. Those people where you go on Twitter and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to talk about some baseball. I'm going to make a prediction. There's always that one person that goes under your tweet and goes, bookmarked. I don't care. I really do not care. Say what you need to say. Don't bookmark it and be 5 months later, ha ha ha, look, you were wrong. Why didn't you stand on your bookmark and say something when you saw something you didn't like? Because you're not about it. You can't make a prediction and stand on it. You just go, I'm going to wait until I'm hopefully right. And if not, I'll just remove the bookmark. You're cowards. Remember that.
That was real. That was real. That was so real. You said you're not standing on business. Quote tweet me now. Engage.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's like you ever watch. It can be literally any sport ever. We'll say basketball for example. Somebody's getting 30 dropped on their head. They're quiet, but it's a close game. But they've got 30 dropped on their head. They're quiet the entire game. They make one shot in the fourth quarter, and they're like, "Shit on you, killing you." Absolutely destroyed. Your ass. You're terrible. Where were you the first 3 quarters? See, I'm the type of person, right? I'm always talking trash. It literally does not matter. I could be having the worst game of my life, or nowadays, talking sports. I could be on a 0 for 30 run of bad sports predictions, and I will still be there talking my shit. You won't catch me at the end when I'm finally winning. Like, yeah, look at me, I'm the best. No, I will stand on every prediction. Anything I ever have to say, I will stand on it from the start instead of hiding behind some bookmarks and waiting until whatever I
Watching.
want to come true comes true.
Which is why whenever you do have the occasional right take, you do a victory lap. You are a known lap runner.
I absolutely do, dude. I run all of the laps. I love
Yeah.
being right.
Yeah.
Nobody loves being right more than me.
It's actually true. It's a little egotistical and I love it. It's very fun.
Dude, when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, I mean, actually, there's been a few times. I mean, first example though is when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. I'm going back on all my positive tweets about the Chiefs, all of my tweets about people hating on Patrick Mahomes. I'm just like, I win, I win, I win, I win, I win, I win.
It's irrational. It's very funny. Have you ever had a take so bad you've deleted the tweet or no?
Probably, but
Yeah, probably. It
I can't
happens
think of
occasionally.
one off the top of my head. I'm sure you could go on my Twitter and find some pretty terrible tweets, and that's just proof that I will stand
That
on
he
what I
stands on it. Yeah,
say.
yeah.
That is proof.
Yeah. That they're still there. That's very real. So while we're talking about your Twitter, make sure you guys follow us at Spectators Media. Keep in touch with all the stuff that we do. Join us in our discussions for when we're talking about players and all that good stuff. We're going to have a lot of it during the season. Talk about when our episodes come out, any TikToks or anything like that we put out. Also at Spectators Media. Appreciate you guys join us over there. And again, next week we're going to do our divisional predictions. So we'll talk about who's winning it and all that, why the Mets won't be second place, all that good stuff. We'll get into.
No. Why they will be?
No,
Actually.
actually no.
No.
And that's
they
okay.
will.
And that's okay. Again, you can be wrong. Just come back when you're wrong or right. I don't care which.
Can't wait to do a victory lap.
Dude, do your laps, man.
You're my biggest op right now.
I am the entire op room. All of them. I am every op you've ever had right now. So thank you guys again for hanging out with us. Make sure you subscribe and like if you haven't already. We'll be back next week. Peace, guys.